And there, in the post section for today, you'll see this 6-step process on how to practice creative imagination. And this is by Roy Eugene Davis. And just briefly, these 6 steps are: number 1, relax in a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Let your mind become clear and open. Number 2, in your mind's eye, create a mental picture of yourself living in a state or condition that you desire, or which you feel would be your prayer fulfilled. Number 3, make it a present time fact to your mind and to your feeling nature by thinking and feeling the fulfilled picture to be a now reality. That is, combine the thought with the feeling of what you image as if it were a reality right now, and hold this image in your mind. Affirmations can help with this step. Number 4, the next step in the process is for us to relax, to let go, even go to sleep for a while, as the image that we create in our conscious mind, is transmitted to the subconscious level of our mind, or as I call it, the factory. This is where the image is given a definite shape and form, enabling it to become manifest in our life experiences. Number 5, after using the technique, follow through with any inner guidance that you receive as creative action, which you can do to move yourself closer to the fulfillment of your prayer or desire. Number 6, allow yourself to feel gratitude and thankfulness for your desire or prayer being fulfilled and your dreams realized, even before there is any outer evidence of this. The reason that using faith and the imagined together are so powerful is that they can help us believe that we have already received what we pray for. This means that we are able to meet the only requirement that Jesus gives for the fulfillment of our prayers in Mark 11:24, when he says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." So the key here is to think and feel from the end result of fulfilled prayer. And this is not a doubtful thing, a maybe thing, a future thing. This is thinking from the end as you can image it right now in your consciousness. Image the results or the outcome of prayers as being fulfilled. As Jesus said, believe that you have already received it. Don't mess with the details, okay? Let God attend to the details. Let Spirit, let your subconscious mind attend to the details. Okay. Now I have a black screen except for some white letters. Sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. I'm going to trust that you can see me and hear me, and I will continue. Okay. If your prayers are for yourself or for another, see yourself or that person enjoying life fully, completely free of whatever the problem was. Let me give you an example of how creative imagery might work. Let's assume that your present desire is for a new place to live. And let's experience this imagery. If you like, you can sit back and relax your mind and body and take a few breaths and close your eyes. And then see if you can create the mental image that I will give you the details on. Say you want to buy the house, but it has to be within your means. It has to be conveniently located, comfortable, and attractive. Now don't look around and don't settle for what is available right now. Don't grumble, complain, or display negative attitudes. Just be still in a quiet place and clear your mind. Okay? So imagine that you are this person and that the desire of your heart is to find a new home. Be still and let yourself be quiet. Let your mind become clear. And the mind will clear itself with we relax with an objective attitude, let your thoughts just drift. Don't hold on to any of them. Let them pass on through. Then, create a picture in your mind's eye of an ideal home situation. Let your senses get activated. See the spacious rooms in this house. Notice the color of the walls. Look out the window and appreciate the attractive view. Notice the furniture and the rugs. Turn on one of the lamps in the living room and smell the roses from the bushes that are planted on the front lawn. And imagine a trusted friend enters the scene, your mental image, and hear them say, "How wonderful it is that you are happily located in a great house at such a fair price." Then respond with gratitude and a feeling of fulfillment as you would were it actually taking place in the objective realm. And this is how we make a mental image real to our senses, real to our subconscious level of mind. When we feel it to be real, it's no longer just a passing mental image. It is an experience that we are having right now. But you say, what if I can't visualize very well? Well, use a portion of that technique. Just imagine yourself sitting down with a loved one, a friend, and having a conversation. And so in your mind, hear this other person congratulating you on the purchase of your new home. Wow, it's beautiful. You're going to be so happy here. So you create this image of sound instead of imagining with your inner vision. And this will work as well. Because imagery is not just pictures. It can be what we hear in mind. It can be what we touch with our mind. It could be roses that we smell with our mind. It could be any of the senses. Just hold a mental conversation with someone which would imply the fulfillment of your dream of purchasing a new house. Or if you are trying to exercise and get in better shape, you might hold a image hearing a longtime friend say, "Girl, you're looking so good, so slim and trim. You must be working out on that elliptical bike that you have in your dining room." Using inner hearing with all the feelings of reality will also bring a success in this form of imagination. We have only one mind, but our mind has two distinct characteristics, and each function of our dual mind has separate and distinct powers and attributes. Generally, we call these two functions of our mind the conscious and subconscious level of mind, the objective and the subjective level of mind. The conscious mind is like the captain at the bridge of a ship. He directs the ship and he signals orders to the men or the women who are in the engine room, who in turn control the boilers, the instruments, and all the gauges. The personnel working in the engine room do not necessarily know where the ship is headed. They trust the captain. And when the captain says, turn the wheel so many knots and gives these instructions, they follow it without question. If the captain gives bad instructions, they could find themselves onto the rocks. But like this, our conscious mind is the captain and the master of our ship of self. which represents our body, our environment, and our experiences. Our subconscious function of mind takes the orders that we give it, and based on what our conscious mind believes, it accepts what we give it. It receives what we give it as true. When we say something like, I can't afford it, or I'm never going to be well, or I just can't get ahead, I can't succeed at anything, the subconscious level of our mind takes us at our word. And it doesn't stop to question what we've said. It doesn't wonder, is that what she really means or not? The subconscious level of our mind simply goes ahead and makes it so because we've said it. This could be a good thing and this could be a horrible thing, okay? But this is how the mind works. If we give negative thoughts, feelings, and create a negative image, and we send this negative image to our subconscious level of mind, it sees to it that we will not be in a position to purchase what we want. It sees to it that we will continue to get sick. It sees to it that we will not succeed. We will keep failing. But we instead affirm victory, success, and overcoming any difficulty now. This is what the subconscious level of mind helps us do. It says, oh, now I get the picture. This is what she really wants. I'm going to help. Our subconscious mind follows our conscious mind's orders without thinking twice. We think with our conscious level of mind, and whatever we habitually think, what thoughts we hold on to, sinks down into this subconscious level of mind. It's important to remember that once our subconscious level of mind accepts an order or an image or an idea that we give it, it begins to execute it right away. Right now, in the present, it begins shaping and forming the image that we have sent to it. Our healing and expanding experiences and opportunities are being created if our thoughts are positive and life-affirming. Whatever we claim mentally and feel as true, our subconscious level of mind accepts it as truth and brings it forth into our experience. The law of mind is this. We get a reaction or a response from our subconscious faculty of mind according to the nature of the thought or the idea that we hold in our mind. Through the conscious mind, we contact and interact with our environment. We study, we learn, we reason, and we decide things. We choose things. But our subconscious level of mind does none of those things. Uh-oh. My screen just left. Okay. All right. Okay, the black screen is still here. Sorry about that. The subconscious mind will simply act on the suggestions that we give it. How to get results from creative imagery. How to get the results we want and the reasons for failure. The principal reasons for failure to fulfill our dreams and our prayers is a lack of confidence and too much effort. You know, it's interesting that if we put too much effort into achieving something, making something happen, and we try to force it, it is a negative message in a way because our constant and strong reinforcement actually reinforces the feeling tone that we don't have what we are seeking. You know, that requirement for fulfillment of prayers, believing that we have already received it. Well, if we are working strenuously, trying to force something into shape and form in our experience, we're actually telling our subconscious mind we don't have it. And that's why we have to work so hard. But so a gentle touch, easy does it kind of attitude, placing our faith in the activity of God in us to bring through for us that which our heart desires, that which we pray. So we place our faith, our confidence in the activity of God to help us bring this into shape and form in our experience. So we don't have to stress about it. We can release it, let it go, give it over to God. Many people block the answers to their prayers by failing to fully comprehend how the subconscious mind works. When we know how our subconscious mind and conscious mind work together, we can gain a sense of confidence. Consequently, if we use this law in a negative way, it brings trouble, it brings failure and confusion. When we use this law of mind, the law of mind action, in a positive way, constructive way, it brings guidance, freedom, and peace of mind. We always fail to get results when we try to use mental coercion, because our subconscious mind does not respond to coercion. It responds to our faith and our confidence and our mental acceptance. Similarly, our subconscious mind is the master mechanic. I like to call it the factory, where things are worked on, shaped and formed, and then put out into our experience. We find ourselves motivated to do those things which help bring it into manifestation. We find ourselves drawing to us the people who can help. We find things and experiences being drawn to us from the universe that can help us give shape and form to that image once we seed our subconscious mind with it. We are to offer no opponent. Use imagination, not willpower, to shape and form this image. We align ourselves with the God presence in us, and we take our cues from what we call the superconscious level of mind. The level of mind where we are in tune with that presence and power in us we call God, or Christ, God's perfect pattern of what we can become, who we are and what we can become, the Christ in us. We can claim the good of God as our source of wisdom, of love, of understanding, and we can send only thoughts and images of what we truly desire to experience to our subconscious level of mind, for it to create. Our subconscious level of mind is always working. It is active day and night, filling our orders and keeping our heart, lungs, and autonomic nervous system going. Here are some techniques that I'd like to share with you from Joseph Murphy's book. It's called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It's on using creative imagery. Now I invite you to experience this imagery exercise. This comes from a friend of Joseph Murphy's, a minister friend who was struggling with ill health. And this minister friend developed a technique, and he wrote it out and sent it to Murphy. He wrote, "Several times a day, I make certain that I am completely relaxed mentally and physically." If you like, you can speak these words to yourself as if you are the person working this imagery for healing. I relax my body by speaking to it as follows. My feet are relaxed. My ankles are relaxed. My legs are relaxed. My abdominal muscles are relaxed. My heart and lungs are relaxed. My head is relaxed. My whole being is completely relaxed. And then this friend wrote, after about 5 minutes, I would feel drowsy or kind of sleepy. And then I would affirm the following truth. The perfection of God is now expressing through me. The idea of perfect health is filling my conscious mind. The image that God has of me is a perfect image, and my subconscious level of mind creates my body in perfect accord with the perfect image held in the mind of God. And this is what this minister friend affirmed several times a day for several weeks. And he found that he experienced a remarkable healing as a result. Another exercise that I would like to share with you is about healing. Another way to convey the idea of health to our subconscious mind is by the creative imagination, or what's called scientific imagination. Murphy says that he told a man who was suffering from functional paralysis to make a vivid picture of himself walking in his office, touching the desk, answering the telephone, and doing all the things that he ordinarily would do if he were healed. See, the man had a mental block which prevented impulses from his brain from reaching his legs. Therefore, he could not walk. Well, Murphy explained to him that this idea of the mental image had the power and the ability to free up and release that mental block and allow the impulses from his brain to reach into his legs. So this man lived that role, and he actually felt himself back in the office. When he closed his eyes, he saw himself in the office. He saw his desk. He looked around at the paperwork on his desk. In his mind, he answered the phone. He worked on correspondence, and he walked around his office over to the window, and he looked out in his mind. So he lived the role, and he felt himself. Thinking has to be combined with feeling for the image to take hold in the subconscious mind. Our thoughts and our feelings, the masculine and feminine expression of our thinking ability, combine to give birth to an image which then our subconscious mind can understand and work with. This man knew that he was giving his subconscious mind something definite to work on. His subconscious was the film upon which the picture that he created in his mind was impressed. One day, after several weeks with using this mental picture, the phone rang by prearrangement, and it kept ringing while this man's wife and his nurse were both away. The telephone was about 12 feet away, but nevertheless, he managed to get over to the phone and answer it. He was healed in that hour. In that hour, when he stretched, when he moved forward to go answer that phone, he was healed. The healing power of his subconscious mind responded to his mental imagery, and a healing followed. When he shifted his attention to the healing power within him, the power flowed through his focused attention, enabling him to walk. And here is another exercise. This is called the boudoir technique. And this one happens to be about divine order. This is a very simple way to condense the idea that we want to experience, want to express, want to give shape and form to, by summing it up in a very brief phrase. Instead of a long affirmation, a long process, we summarize it in a few words. Let me share how this young lady used this. The boudoir technique. Baudoin. It's French. Some years ago, a young lady in Los Angeles was engaged in a prolonged, bitter family lawsuit over a will. Her husband had bequeathed his entire estate to her, and his sons and daughters, by a previous marriage, were bitterly fighting to break that will. The boudoir technique was outlined to her, and this is what she did. Now imagine yourself in this situation. She relaxed her body in an armchair. She entered into a sleepy state, and as suggested, she condensed the idea of her need into a phrase consisting of just 6 words, which she could easily engrave on her memory. Now, the reason that getting relaxed is so important is, again, because when we relax, our conscious mind can let go. It can let go or release what we've been holding on to so strongly. And so all of the objections that the subconscious mind might put up for our not having the fulfillment of our prayers, those are lessened when we can enter into a very relaxed, gentle, quiet, sleepy kind of mode or state of mind. Anyway, she relaxed her body and she created a phrase. And these 6 words were, "It is finished in divine order." It is finished in divine order. Now, what these words meant to her was that infinite intelligence, God, was operating through the laws of her subconscious mind and would bring about a harmonious adjustment through the principle of harmony. She continued this procedure every night for about 10 nights, stating or affirming, "It is finished in divine order." She wasn't worried about what to do to make this come out right, how to solve this problem and difficulty with her husband's sons and daughters by a previous marriage. She got into a sleepy state. She would simply affirm quietly, slowly, and feelingly this statement, "It is finished in divine order," over and over again. A feeling sense of inner peace and all-pervading tranquility would come upon her. And then she would go ahead and sleep normally. When we sleep after an exercise, this allows that image to sink down into the subconscious level of mind. If we do a technique or a procedure and we jump up and we run right back into our day, well, this upsets the natural order. And that quiet energy that we need and that the subconscious level of mind needs to have is thrown out the window. So on the morning of the 11th day, following the use of this technique, she awakened with a sense of well-being, a conviction that it was truly finished. Her attorney called on that same day, saying that the opposing attorney and his clients were willing to settle. They were willing to reach an agreement. And so the litigation was discontinued. Here is a technique in Joseph Murphy's book for building a wealth consciousness. Perhaps you are saying that I need wealth and success. This is what you do. Repeat for about 5 minutes to yourself 3 or 4 times a day, wealth, success. Wealth, success. These words have tremendous power. They represent the inner power of your subconscious mind. They anchor your mind on this substantial power within you. Then conditions and circumstances corresponding to their nature and quality will be manifested in your life. You're not saying, "I am wealthy." You're dwelling on the fact of wealth and success. Wealth and success. And the feeling of wealth will well up within you as you dwell on the idea of wealth. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. And keep this in mind. The subconscious mind is like a bank. It magnifies whatever we deposit or impress upon it, whether the idea of wealth or of poverty. We choose. And here's another one following that. Murphy said that he talked to quite a few people during his past 35 years, and the complaint is, by many people, I have said for weeks and months that I am wealthy, I am prosperous, and nothing has happened. And Murphy said, I discovered then that when they said, I am prosperous, I am wealthy, they felt within them that they were lying to themselves. Somehow they couldn't grasp this, that it's a spiritual reality that they can grasp now. One man told me, he said, I have affirmed that I am prosperous until I am tired. Things are now worse than they ever were. He said, I knew when I made the statement that it was obviously not true. And therefore, Murphy said, his statements were rejected by the conscious mind, and the very opposite of what he outwardly affirmed and claimed was made manifest. Murphy advises that our affirmation succeeds best when it is specific and when it does not produce a mental conflict or an argument with our conscious mind. So the statements by this man actually made things worse because it created a conflict with his conscious mind. So if we just say wealth, success, or just say prosperity, 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 we don't invoke a conflict with our conscious mind.
Thank you. God bless.